In 2017, an entity tore through our solar system, defying every mechanical law known to humanity. It didn't just drift, it accelerated, without engines, without emissions, and in total silence. The world called it ʻOumuamua. Mainstream science labeled it a rock, but perhaps they were simply too unnerved to admit the truth. Because in the eerie stillness of 2026, a second visitor has emerged three-eyed ATLS. And this time, it's not just passing through. Staggeringly, ATLS is moving precisely along the ghost trajectory left by its predecessor. Is this a one in a billion cosmic coincidence? Or are we witnessing a coordinated formation moving through the shadows of the universe? There is a corner of astrophysics they don't want you to see. We are observing a celestial transition event that perhaps humanity was never meant to witness. The first was a signal. The second is a shadow. The only question remains, what is the third one waiting for? ʻOumuamua was a whisper, three-eyed ATLS is a shout, detected in the frozen silence of early 2026. This second interstellar visitor didn't just drift into our neighborhood. It arrived with a mathematical precision that defies every natural model. While the world was still debating Oumuamua's nitrogen ice, ATLS appeared on a trajectory so familiar it sent chills through the halls of Harvard. Here is the detail they are struggling to explain. ATLS isn't just a random rock. It is moving along the exact corridor carved out by its predecessor nearly a decade ago. In the vast, chaotic infinity of the cosmos, the odds of two natural objects sharing the same interstellar highway are virtually zero. This isn't a coincidence. This is a formation. A's telescopes turned their gaze toward ATLS. The natural origin theories began to crumble. No tail, no outgassing, and most disturbingly, no thermal signature that fits a rock of its size. If Oumuamua was a discarded sail, ATLS behaves like a passive scout. It possesses the same non-gravitational acceleration, a clean, silent push that ignores the sun's dragging grip. It doesn't need to burn fuel. It is riding the very fabric of starlight. The scientific establishment is scrambling. They tried to bury Oumuamua under a mountain of complex natural models, calling it a unique anomaly. But you cannot call it a own time event when the second one is staring you in the face. Their silence is no longer about a lack of data. It is about the terror of what the data confirms. We are not being visited by rocks. We are being surveyed by relics. 3IG's ATLS is the smoking gun that the Galileo project warned us about. It proves that the first visitor wasn't a lonely wanderer, but part of a sequence, a systematic sweep of our system. As ATLS accelerates toward the outer rim, it leaves us with a haunting realization. The record on Oumuamua wasn't closed. It was just the first chapter, and as the shadow of ATLS fades, we must ask, what is the third shadow already crossing the heliopause? In the cold silence of 2026, the ATLS survey system, designed to warn humanity of extinction-level asteroids, captured something it couldn't explain, designated 3I-ATLS. This is the third intruder from the abyss. But as data began to leak, the natural explanations started to look like desperate narratives. Initial reports claimed 3I showed cometary properties. Faint outgassing, a light dust coma. The scientific establishment breathed a sigh of relief, labeling it just another dirty snowball. But they are ignoring the physics. To maintain its current velocity with such minimal outgassing, this object's density must defy every cometary model we possess. It isn't reacting to the sun, it is maneuvering through it. Let's talk about the math. Detecting 3 interstellar objects in less than a decade isn't a statistical fluke. It's population density. If our telescopes, viewing the ocean through a tiny straw, have caught 3 intruders, there are millions more we've missed. This isn't a series of accidents. This is a calculated infiltration. If we strip away comforting labels like comet or asteroid, what remains is 3I-ATLS, a kinetic kill vehicle, a relic from an interstellar conflict we can't even perceive. Or is it a necro probe, a piece of dead technology from a civilization extinct for eons, still mindlessly performing its reconnaissance mission across every star in the sector? The most terrifying question isn't whether 3I is a spacecraft. It's what it is searching for. Each visitor, ʻOumuamua, Borisov, and now ATLS, entered from different angles at different speeds, but with the same chilling result. They exit before we can even launch a probe. They aren't visiting us. They are mapping us. Air is the detail. They haven't publicized. Infrared sensors recorded an anomalous temperature shift on 3I's ATLS as it grazed Earth's orbit. It wasn't caused by the sun. It behaved like an electromagnetic pulse, scanning the data layers of our atmosphere. Are we living at a cosmic crossroads, or are we merely a target that hasn't yet realized the scale of the operation directed at us? Focus on the gaps in the data, because that is where the truth is hiding. To understand 3I's ATLS, we must look at the scar left by ʻOumuamua. On the surface, they differ: one a silent, cigar-shaped monolith, the other a flickering, volatile wanderer. But beneath the data, they share a chilling truth. Both are defying the very laws of physics we use to define reality. When ʻOumuamua accelerated, NASA called it outgassing, despite seeing no gas. Now, with 3I's ATLS, we see a dust coma, we see activity, but the mathematics don't align. Its brightness variability isn't random. It follows a periodic interval, almost like a coded command. If ʻOumuamua was a silent scout, 3I's ATLS behaves like a functional module, while mainstream science scrambles to label them unnatural anomalies. We are ignoring the obvious. We are witnessing 2 different layers of the same interstellar technology. We use terms like exotic ice to remain calm. Band aids on an open wound in human knowledge. What if ATLS's variability isn't gas, but signal calibration? What if its strange reflectivity is a material science so advanced it renders our radar systems into primitive toys? We are trying to a smartphone to early humans using the logic of stone and fire. Our physical aren't eternal truths. They are local observations of a species, its own front porch. A true horror of interstellar astronomy is the window of Insaru. Glorious adult signs of the window. These objects streak by at tens of kilometers per second. We have only weeks to observe before they vanish into the void. NASA provides the headlines, but they hide the data gaps. We are trying to reconstruct divine, level technology by staring at its shadow through a keyhole. By the time we realize what we're seeing, it's already gone. Mainstream models try to soothe us with cosmic ray exposure theories. But those are just placeholders, for we don't know. They cannot explain the course corrections without outgassing. They cannot explain why this object seems to choose its moment to be seen. Ultimately, these visitors expose a brutal truth. We are not the protagonists of this story. We are an isolated tribe on a small island, watching high-tech dreadnoughts pass by the horizon. We argue over ice and rock because the alternative is too much to bear. Civilizations at the edge of the abyss don't just pass through. They are mapping the terrain. And as we stare through our tiny glass lenses for answers, we forget that at the other end of that lens, something far more ancient and patient is staring back. We aren't discovering them. We are being indexed, and the window is closing. We are entering the final layer, where the comfort of mainstream science ends and an unsettling reality begins. Astronomers will tell you that 3 ATOS is just a comet. It fits the numbers. It satisfies the charts. But in the world of deep space anomalies, fitting the math is often the best way to hide in plain sight. Layer 1 is the safety net, the official stance. No artificial signals, no confirmed technology. But look closer at Layer 2, our baseline is 0. We have only seen 3 of these objects in all of human history. To claim 3 ATOS is typical, is like seeing 3 sparks in a dark forest and declaring you understand the sun. Are we seeing mundane space rocks, or are we seeing extreme outliers, the ones meant to be seen? Then, there is the debate over radiation pressure. Some scientists argue that sunlight alone could propel these objects. For that to be true, 3 ATLAS would have to be impossibly thin, a porous, lightweight structure more akin to a cosmic spiderweb than a solid rock. Harvard's Professor A.V. Loeb remains steadfast. He argues that if the acceleration doesn't come from gas, it must come from design. We are talking about light, sail technology, not necessarily a functional ship, but perhaps a fragment of interstellar infrastructure. A discarded piece of a civilization drifting past our home like a ghost ship in the night. The truth is, we are blind. We cannot see its shape. We cannot touch its surface. We are reconstructing a divine, level mystery using indirect measurements and thermal models. We are trying to paint a face by looking at a shadow. The divide here isn't between believers and skeptics. It's between the data, cold, fragmented, and silent, and the desire to be the only intelligent life in the room. With interstellar objects, the margin of error isn't just a number. It's a vast, terrifying abyss where the truth is buried. If you value unanswered questions, listen closely. The most dangerous part of 3 ATOS isn't what we found. It's the fact that our best instruments still cannot distinguish between a natural comet and a sleeping alien probe. Does that make the universe a natural wonder, or a crowded room where we are the only ones with our eyes closed? The data is fading. The window is closing. And as 3i ATOS vanishes into the abyss, it leaves us with the only answer we deserve. We are not ready. Take a step back. Look at the larger picture. For centuries, we viewed our solar system as a fortress, a gated community protected by the vast moats of interstellar space. But K2, WAIT-TB, ʻOumuamua, and now 3i ATLS have shattered that illusion. Our home is not a fortress, it is a fragile membrane. We are living in a cosmic transit zone, and those gates have been wide open since the dawn of time. If we've detected 3 interstellar intruders in just 1 decade, the mathematics are undeniable. When the Vera C. Rubin Observatory becomes fully operational, we expect to find dozens of such objects every year. This isn't just a hunt for extraterrestrials. This is interstellar chemical delivery. Every object is a free sample from a star system we will never reach. They carry exotic isotopes and organic compounds formed around stars that may have died before our sun was even born. When you look at 3i ATLS, you aren't just looking at a rock. You are staring at a time capsule from a world that was once Earth's twin, or perhaps its graveyard. But here is the detail keeping researchers awake at night: panspermia. If these objects carry rich organic materials, then biology is not confined to a single planet. It is a traveler. But remember, if life can travel between the stars, so can extinction. Is 3i ATLS a messenger of life, or a sterile, radioactive relic? A cosmic fossil drifting in a silence so deep it's suffocating. We have only just developed the eyes to see them. Imagine the billions of years when the skies were far busier than we thought, and we were entirely, blissfully blind. And the most unsettling lesson I've learned isn't that aliens might exist. It's that we are irrelevant to them. 3i's ATLS doesn't care about our borders, our wars, or our science. It is a singular cosmic experiment, gliding through our light and vanishing back into the dark. The real question isn't whether 3i ATLS is stranger than ʻOumuamua. The question is, how many others have passed by while we were looking the other way? In the coming months, the final spectroscopic data of 3i ATS will be released. I will be here to analyze the gaps, the parts they won't put in the mainstream headlines. If you are drawn to the anomalies, rewriting our place in the universe, you belong here. Subscribe and keep your eyes on the horizon, because the next visitor isn't just on the way. He might already be here.